G'day viewers, it's Chris Bloor here. Welcome to this presentation, Money on Tap, Understanding the Pareto Principle, or the 80-20 rule. Now, guys, I've got a lot to cover in this video. I'm going to do my very best to share solid information with you that you can use. And I honestly believe if you will apply the stuff that I'm going to share with you in this video, you can see an increase of up to 500% when it comes to your bottom line, sales, cash flow and profits. I want to emphasize that I have absolutely no theory to share with you. And yes, this is the kind of stuff that I'm doing on a daily basis in my own business. I'm not telling you to do something without doing it myself. Okay, let's get started. The specific aim of this quick course is to help you see a 5-fold increase in sales, cash flow and profits. And in order to do that, I'm going to introduce you to a very special mystery man. This chap was born about 178 years ago, but whose insights into money are as fresh and as timeless today as they were when he very first discovered them. And I'm talking of this guy here on the right, Wilfredo Pareto, born the 15th of July 1848, died 19th of August 1923 at the age of 75. He was an Italian engineer. I've just got to say, folks, check out that beard. That is some awesome beard this bloke had. Anyway, he was an Italian engineer, sociologist, economist, political scientist and philosopher. He made several important contributions to economics, particularly in the study of income distribution and in the analysis of individuals' choices. And he's famous, of course, for the 80-20 principle, or the Pareto rule, as some people call it. Originally, the Pareto principle referred to the observation that 80% of Italy's wealth back in the day when he lived belonged to only 20% of the population. More generally, the Pareto principle is the observation that most things in life are not distributed evenly. And if you've ever seen somebody driving by in a brand new Rolls Royce and you're catching the bus, that will have been brought home vividly to you. Now, the Pareto principle basically states that 20% of the input creates 80% of the result. 20% of the workers produce 80% of the result. 20% of the customers create 80% of the revenue. 20% of the bugs in a software program cause 80% of the crashes, and 20% of the features in any kind of program cause 80% of the usage. And this last figure, this hits home where you and I live because, of course, we want to market our business effectively. 20% of the marketing creates 80% of the sales. The Pareto principle helps you to realize that the majority of results you get come from a minority of inputs. In other words, if 20% of your employees create 80% of the results, you need to focus on rewarding, motivating and keeping those employees. If 20% of bugs create 80% of crashes, obviously you'd need to focus on fixing those bugs first. And if 20% of clients create 80% of revenue, we need to focus on satisfying and duplicating more customers like those. Now, if 20% of your marketing creates 80% of your sales, what should you do? The point is to realize that you and I should focus our effort on the 20% of activities that makes a difference instead of the 80% that we all get caught up in that doesn't really do anything for our bottom line. And of course, the million-dollar question is, okay, how on earth do I do this? Because it's pretty obvious that most people are like the mad scientist on this slide. They do the exact opposite. They've got the best of intentions. Things just have a habit of blowing up in their face when they least expect it. So let's look at what we need to do to implement the Pareto principle in our business, in our life. First of all, and this isn't really exciting, this is not going to make you shout and holler or swing off the chandeliers, but if you don't do this, you're going to be dead in the water. You must track and measure everything in your business. Now, what I'd like to do is take a look at 16 things that you should be split testing. There's a lot more than this, but these are just 16 very important things. Number one is activities. What do you do? How do you spend your time? Do you spend your time reading emails that don't make you any money? Do you spend your time looking at videos on YouTube or Facebook that don't make you any money? Do you spend your time putting out fires or doing meaningless tasks, menial tasks that you could be outsourcing to somebody else to do for you? Or do you focus on the things that are going to increase your sales, your cash flow, and your profits? Another thing to split test is your headlines. Guys, I have seen a single letter in a headline create as much as a 1,600% increase in response. And if you are not constantly tweaking and testing your headlines, you're leaving a fortune on the table. The third thing is our offers. Now, as many of you are aware, I've got a program coming up, 30 days of training for $30, and we're going to cover extensively in that training how to create irresistible offers, because most people, to be quite honest, your offers are so boring they would have difficulty convincing your own mum to lend you $5 for a Happy Meal if you were starving. And if your offers don't make your heart skip a beat, you need to go back to the drawing board until they do. The fourth thing that we need to split test is our bonuses. Folks, whatever you do, don't give people some crappy, useless bonus that they are going to feel insulted the moment they open. Make your bonuses, make your free bonuses better than your competitors' paid stuff. You need to split test, you need to track, you need to measure your bonuses. Then calls to action. One of the saddest things about 99.9% of business websites is there is no what we refer to as a MWR, or a most wanted response. Folks, don't expect people to be mind readers. Tell them what you want them to do on any specific page on your website. Do you want them to fill in a form? Do you want them to request a consultation? Do you want them to join your membership? Do you want them to buy your product? Do you want them to enroll in a webinar? You see, you need to split test your calls to action, and you need to match them to the most wanted response for each page on your website. Then, of course, I have to say number 6, because I'm a copywriter. If your copy is dead, dull and boring, if it's about as exciting as chloroform in print, it is no wonder that you're struggling to make sales. If you need help with your copywriting, talk to me. Number 7, images. This is an area where most of you listening to me now, you are leaving a stinking fortune on the table because you don't choose the right images for your website. Again, in our 30 days for $30 training, we're going to be going into images in great detail. And I'm going to be showing you a specific type of image that you need to consistently be sharing with your people. Something that's going to make them stop, pay attention, and take action now. Number 8, you need to understand which colors to use. Earlier today, I was showing a client a kitchen company website. And I'm not kidding, guys. Their telephone number was in the top left-hand corner, and you would have needed an electron microscope to read it. The font was so small. And then down the bottom of their website, where it had their contact details and their opening hours, would you believe that the drongo of a web designer had actually used a grey font on a black background? Again, you would have needed an electron microscope to even read and even locate some of the most important information on their website. Now, these guys obviously, and sadly their web designer, obviously don't have a clue when it comes to what colors to use. It's so important that you choose the right color for the right message. Again, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but you can Google this kind of stuff. Educate yourself when it comes to colors. Number 9, platforms. Should you be on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or a combination of these? And which platform should you be placing the most emphasis on? This is such an important thing. I see folk all the time that are wasting their time on Instagram and Twitter. They're wasting their time on Instagram and Twitter, and their market are just not even remotely interested in either of those platforms. You've got to split test, track and measure which platform is right for you. Number 10, this is a huge one, and it is the mediums that you use to get your message across. You see, some people are kinesthetic learners. They love video. Other folks are auditory learners. They love to listen, obviously, to audio. Podcasts are best for them. Some people, they like to print something off and hold it in their hand. They're more of a tactile learner. And so offering them a report that they can print and sit down with a cup of coffee or tea and read is the way to go. You need to understand the preferred medium that your target market has when it comes to you delivering your content. And number 11, I just mentioned, are your target market kinesthetic? Do they want to see the big picture? Do they want to envision what it is that you've got for them? You're going to have to use a lot of color. You're going to have to paint great word pictures with your copy. Are they auditory learners? Do they want to listen? Do they want to really sit down and hear what it is you've got to say? Or are they tactile learners? Are they the kind of people that need a hands-on workshop or a hands-on course that they can literally print out materials and sit and go through one module at a time? Which of these learning styles should you be using? Or which combination should you be using and when? And then number 12, this is a huge one, lead magnets. I often say to people, what lead magnet do you have? And they look at me as if I've just asked them if they've landed a few minutes ago from the constellation of Alpha Centauri. They haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. You need to have specific things in place that act as a magnet to draw leads into your business. Now, most of you know my lead magnets are a combination of YouTube and free lead generating reports. I love that combination. It works like crazy. You see, the moment that somebody comes to your YouTube channel and you hold up a printed and bound copy of a report and say, now folks, I've got a great report here. It's yours free. It's going to be in the description. down there below and you look down and you point to where the description is, you'll be able to download this free of charge once the video's finished. That can have an incredible impact, not only on positioning you as the expert and the people of choice in your niche, but in inspiring confidence, in making people think, this guy, this girl, they must be an expert. They must know what they're talking about because they're giving away these great free reports. And we're going to do a whole section, by the way, on lead generating reports, how to use them, what happens when you do. Number 13, sales formulas. Do you use a formula that's called STAR, Story, Solution, where you might interview Mary? Let's say Mary had struggled with getting fit all of her life. She becomes the star. She tells her story of how she hired you as a fitness coach, and your system becomes the viewers and the listeners' solution because you are the knight in shining armor that showed Mary how to finally get fit. Or are you using a formula, very popular sales formula, that we call problem, agitate, solve, prove, call to action? So you mention the problem they've got, you agitate that problem, you solve the problem, you prove that you've solved the problem with testimonials, and then you have a call to action. What sales formulas are you split testing in your business? And then number 14, one of my all-time favorites is response forms. I'd like to go out on a limb and say with absolute confidence that 99.9% of you listening to the sound of my voice are not getting your response forms correct. Again, in the 30 Days for $30 training, I'm going to show you a way of doing response forms that's going to absolutely knock your socks off. And it's one reason why I always get a constant flow of targeted, ready-to-buy prospects, and I seldom deal with tire kickers because I understand how to create a response form that makes the right kind of prospect stop, pay attention, take action now. Number 15, are you split testing your endorsements? Do you have testimonials? Do you have written testimonials, audio testimonials, video testimonials? Have you created a book of proof, which is basically a Word document where you put all of your testimonials in, you put a nice cover on it, you call it the book of proof, you convert it into a PDF, and that document has nothing inside other than testimonials from satisfied clients. Are you doing that in your business? Because if you're not, that's one of the steps that you're going to have to pay attention to when it comes to increasing your sales, your cash flow, and your profits fivefold. And finally, voices. I'm starting to use an awful lot of voice talent in my marketing. And recently here in Thailand, I clicked on an advert on YouTube for insurance for people like me. I'm an expat living here in Thailand. Most of their target market are going to be males, 50 and above. And would you believe that they had a young lady doing the voiceover? She sounded like she was about 18. She obviously knew absolutely nothing about being an expat in Thailand. And I thought, crikey, they've completely stuffed things up. Her age was wrong, the gender was wrong, the accent was wrong. There was no what we call message to market match. Now I can tell you, having ran a successful marketing agency for many years, the ideal voice would have been an older gentleman with a deep resonating voice that would have engendered trust and identity and empathy with the target market. So guys, look at this slide. You need to be tracking and measuring and split testing these 16 things. There's a lot more that you need to split test. These are the bare bones. How many of them are you split testing now? On a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 was, oh, Chris, fantastic, mate, we're doing all of these, and 1 was, crikey, I'm in a mess, where would you be? Okay, moving on. Number 2, only a couple of really simple steps involved with this. Use the daily planner that came with this video. It really is that important. It's not going to do you any good if you just leave it on your hard drive gathering cyber dust. What I suggest you do is that you print out a couple of hundred of these things. Go and take them to an Officeworks store and get them bound in lots of 30 and start using it religiously every single day. Why? Because if you invest the next 30 days focused on the top 5 things that you must do to make sales, your entire world will change. Here's the secret formula. It involves split testing plus using the daily planner and focusing on the top 5 things that you know in your heart you need to do every day to make sales. If you do this, it's almost like a spiritual law kicks in, and you will start to see more sales, you'll generate much better cash flow, and you'll enjoy much better profits. Now, you have a choice. Don't you love the 2 little smiley faces that I found on either side of this picture here? First of all, you could do the insane thing. Albert Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so many of you listening to this presentation, that's exactly what you're doing. You are stuck like a proverbial mouse on a wheel, going round and round and round, wearing yourself out and never getting anywhere. Like I said, you got a choice. You can just keep on going the way you have been. You can say, oh, Chris, you want me to split test 16 things? Yep. You want me to use a daily planner every day? Yep. You want me to identify the top 5 things every day and focus on those 5 things? Yep. Because if you do, I promise you, it's going to change everything for you. Look at this slide. You've got this drongo here going down the road, looking at his mobile phone. And I put a sticker on the mobile phone here that said, "Stop distracted driving." Now you're probably nodding your head up and down and saying, yeah, anybody'd have to be an idiot to drive down the road doing that. But are you driving the car of your business? Are you at the driving seat of your business completely distracted? You haven't had a cash flow, a sales mix, a profit and loss statement done since last year's accounting time? Because folks, if that's you, you are exactly like this guy going down the road. You're an accident waiting to happen. It's not a matter of if your business crashes and burns one day, it's a matter of it's going to. Don't drive distracted. Don't run your business distracted either. It is a recipe for disaster. Would you fancy some expert help? See, I've got this new program, 30 days of video training for $30. You can see more about that if you go to my Facebook profile. I believe it's seriously epic. What I'm going to do is take 30 days and I'm going to show you. I'm not going to tell you, because it drives me bonkers when people tell me what to do and they fail to show me how to do it. I'm going to show you how to spot the difference between great marketing strategy and downright garbage. Not only that, I'm going to show you how to fix the marketing in your business. And my promise, some of you have seen it already, I'm going to show you how to make at least an extra $1,000 a month online. Now, for some of you, you're making more than that in a day. We regularly see $1,000 days in our own business. But for many, if you started to make $1,000 a month, it's going to change your world. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the quickest and the easiest and the most productive way possible when you sign up for 30 days for $30. I think that's seriously epic. Here's what to do next. Number one, send $30 US to me. There's my PayPal me address, paypal.me/VicarExplore. Step number two, message me via Facebook telling me that you've just paid. And step number three, I'll add you to the group. Well, folks, there you have it. That is the secret formula for money on tap. You've got to split test, you've got to track and measure the 16 things that I shared. You've got to use that free daily planner every day. And the more that you use it every day, the more it will become a habit. Pretty soon you won't be able to go through a day without it, and you'll miss it like crazy. If you go somewhere, maybe to work in a cafe or work at another premises, and you leave that daily planner behind, you'll miss it like a hole in the head. And the only thing that you have to bring to the table besides that is a willingness to focus on the top 5 things. 5 important things that you have to do every day to grow your business. If you do that, you will see more sales, more cash flow, more profits. Guys, thank you so much for your investment in this video. I've got heaps more like this coming. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear them and I will answer them. Thank you very much.